Hi everyone, Linda here from Create Your Future, and today I want to talk about manifesting on a time crunch. I know with Valentine's Day just passing, this is our Valentine's Day weekend. I intend that most of you or all of you were spending time with your SP or you heard from your SP. However, if you were trying to manifest contact by Valentine's Day and you didn't, then this video might be for you. So before we begin, check the description box below. And if you'd like one-on-one coaching session with me, I am having a 50% off sale. And also please check out our course to help you unblock your blocks and manifest fast. So with Valentine's Day approaching or had just approached, I have a lot of people saying to me that I was doing all the things, I was affirming for SP, I was visualizing, I was doing all the techniques. I swear to you, I had a great mental diet, and I still didn't hear from SP on Valentine's Day. Or we still didn't make plans or get flowers, or he didn't invite me out for Valentine's Day. Therefore, manifesting doesn't work. I'm doing it wrong. It's not working. It's not possible. And they give up. So what I want to tell everyone is that, is it possible to manifest on a time crunch? Absolutely. However, the reason why we usually try to manifest on a time crunch is because we're trying to force us to receive that desire. Maybe a birthday's coming up or Valentine's Day, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, the time is coming up. I need this now. I'm putting so much emphasis on it. I'm putting them on a pedestal. I won't feel validated until this happens. And you're actually creating resistance. So is it possible to create on a time crunch? Yes, if you're able to detach from the outcome and detach from the time and the date. But unfortunately, for most of us that are still on this journey and coming from a lax state, when there is a time crunch or a deadline, that's actually creating more resistance. Because as we are trying to live in the end and use our techniques to manifest that desire on that date, what's happening is as the time gets closer, we're looking at the calendar, we're looking at the time, we're looking at the clock. Maybe friends are asking you, did you hear from SP? Do you have plans for Valentine's Day? And because you're getting closer to the time and date that you wanted to manifest by, now you're fearing that it's not going to work. I'm running out of time. Forget it. This is not happening. And guess what? Then it doesn't happen. You don't get that contact. You don't get that, that date for Valentine's Day, for example, or for that time crunch. So it's not that manifestation didn't work for you. It actually worked out perfectly, because we're manifesting 24/7, consciously or unconsciously, favorable or unfavorable. So if your dominant state was fearing that it might not work, I hope he calls for Valentine's Day, I really need him for Valentine's Day, and you're putting so much emphasis on the outcome and the time, you're creating doubt, fear, lack, and it manifested perfectly because that's exactly what was reflected back to you. So now in saying that, I don't want you to feel defeated. I don't want you to feel like a failure, because remember, failure is feedback. What was I thinking when I was doing the techniques and in between techniques about meeting with SP by Valentine's Day? Was I fearing that it wasn't going to happen? Was I worried they were with a third party? Was I thinking it's impossible because it's only a couple days away, 2 weeks away? What was I thinking? Let's be honest with ourselves. Because if you reverse engineer and you think you're going to be like, you know what, I was doing all the techniques, but dominantly my mindset was still going to, I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not. And that comes from our self-concept of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, not feeling loved, not feeling deserving, committed to, prioritize, which stems from, when we were a child, or what people are saying to us and experiences we've had in the past. And that also comes from stories that other people are telling you. It's not going to happen. They're probably with someone else. If they wanted to, they would have. So if they haven't, they don't. And all those kind of things that create that unfavorable story in our mind. Now, what we need to do is we need to change our mindset to the favorable story, the favorable outcome, and trust that our desire is going to happen. So we're going to say, I intend that SP is going to contact me. He loves and adores me. I'm an amazing person. And therefore, they're going to reach out to me for Valentine's Day for sure. However, you're going to take away the obsession with the outcome and with time. For example, if SP didn't contact you for Valentine's Day, are you done with him or her? Are you over it? Are you going to move on? What happens if SP contacts you 3 days later? Are you going to actually say to them, you know what, I'm not interested in talking to you because I wanted you for Valentine's Day, not now? Are you going to be reactive and maybe say to them, why didn't you call for Valentine's Day? Where were you? Who were you with? You were probably with someone else. That's coming from ego and lack. And you can't get mad at the reflection of the version of the person you created. You would still want that person regardless, whether it's this Valentine's Day or 3 days later. So at the end of the day, that's how we remove ourselves and become less attached to the outcome. I would love for them to be here for Valentine's Day. I would love to spend Valentine's Day with them because we put this expectation or this importance on certain days. I want them to call for my birthday. I want to spend the holidays with them. I need to spend Valentine's Day with them, which I get it because those are beautiful holidays that we'd love to spend with each other. But at the end of the day, the goal is being with SP or having a desire, period, whenever and however it comes. So let's take away from the outcome and let's take away from time. So can you manifest on a time crunch? Absolutely. If you are able to keep your mindset and your mental diet clean, if you're able to give good meaning that they're probably thinking of me right now, they're going to call me any minute, and remove yourself from the outcome or looking at time or the countdown of the dates, absolutely, you can manifest on a time crunch. My observation is that when people do try to manifest on a time crunch, it actually creates resistance because that assumption to manifest on a time crunch came from a fear and a lack state of, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. I need to do it now. So you're already trying to create and manifest already from that energy of lack. So keep that in mind when you do want to manifest for on a time crunch. Another thing that I want to mention is sometimes we do need a time crunch. We do need to manifest by a certain time because it's something very important. Rent has to be paid. Bills need to be paid. And I understand that, but the same thing applies. If you're stressing and so worried and so nervous that it's not going to happen, time's running out, oh my gosh, how's this going to happen? You're going to create that scenario where you're not going to have the money on time and something, you'll have a consequence due to that. So what I want you to keep in mind is that anything can happen. Circumstances don't matter and anything can change. Anything is possible. For example, your landlord might be on vacation and not be able to cash your check, your rent check on time, therefore giving you an extra couple weeks to pay rent. It could be something as simple as your landlord saying, hold on to the rent for the next couple of weeks. I'm having some bank issues. I don't have access to it anyway, so don't worry about it. I'll let you know when to send it to me. These are just some examples. You can run into some money. Maybe, you get a promotion at work or a bonus that comes just in time to pay that bill. Sometimes there's a mistake. You call the bill company and you say, oh, my bill is such and such amount. And they say, oh, no, sorry, you have a credit of $3. There was a mistake. So we want to give things those meanings, the positive meanings. What we assume to be true dominantly is what is going to create. So I want you to keep that in mind with your thoughts. So another thing that comes to mind is, why is it so easy for us to assume something unfavorable or negative? There's no proof. We don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we're so quick to say it's not going to work. He's not going to call. If he wanted to, he would have. It's already 3 days. Valentine's Day is coming up. My bill is due in 2 weeks. It's never going to happen. I can't do it. It's so easy for us to assume and believe in the unseen and without having proof that that's going to happen. So why is it so hard, or why do people not believe that you can do the exact same thing with a favorable thought, with a favorable scene, with a favorable assumption? Something went up with the bank, or SP is going to contact me in a minute. Maybe SP didn't contact you for Valentine's Day because they were worried that maybe you were with a new person. So they're going to wait and call you 2 or 3 days later. Why can't we assume favorable? So the answer to that is that our subconscious mind is programmed to predict and protect. So the way our self-concept was created was from old beliefs, experiences as a child, things that people say, the common terms, like if they wanted to, they would have, or money doesn't grow on trees, it's never going to happen. So because we've heard those kind of limiting beliefs longer and more often in our lives, those become the more dominant assumptions that we have. So it's easier by default. It's easier by default for our subconscious mind to go straight to those thoughts, think those thoughts, and guess what? That's what's going to reflect back to you. And you're going to create that version of that situation. Now, if we do the same thing consciously, where we're going to catch that thought and say, no, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking this. SP is going to call me for Valentine's Day. I am going to receive the money some way, somehow to pay my bill, to pay my rent, and all of those things. Then guess what? That has to reflect. The subconscious mind doesn't know what's real or fake or truth or factual or not. It just knows what we suggest to it. It just knows what we think about dominantly is going to reflect outside. What we think about in the 4D dominantly and most often will reflect in the 3D. There's no choice for it not to reflect. So I want you to keep that in mind. And another thing I want you to think about is when you are doubting something, because the doubts, the fears, the assumptions are what keeps our manifestation away longer, is what makes us detour from getting them as fast as we want. What I want you to remind yourself is when those thoughts are coming into your mind, ask yourself, who am I being? Am I being the old version of myself that feels not deserving, not loved, not wanted and chosen, and feels like SP is not going to call, not want to be with me? Or am I the version of myself that knows SP is madly in love with me? They're thinking of me right now. They're going to contact me any minute. I love this Valentine's Day gift they just sent to me. I'm an amazing person. Everything always works out for me. Who are you being? And check yourself. Change that mindset to be the version of yourself that you want to be, to reflect with the desire that you want. Same with the bills, the money, the rent. Who are you being? Are you being the version of yourself that is worried about money and, oh my gosh, this is not going to work out, complaining to your friends, getting stressed out, which is rightfully so. Your feelings are valid because I understand it is stressful. But if we control our mindset and say, who am I being? No, I am the version that has the money. I'm cool, calm, and collected. Some way, somehow, I'm going to have enough money to pay the bills. Some way, somehow, I'm so thankful and grateful that my rent is paid. I intend that my rent is paid on time. And that's what we want to start doing. Another thing is to act as if. So some people say to me, well, how can I act as if I am married with SP if we're in no contact? How can I act as if me and SP are dating if I haven't seen him in a year? So now acting as if does not necessarily mean clearing out a cupboard to put their clothes or setting an extra dish at the table for dinner. Now, if that helps you to act as if and live in the end, absolutely. If that helps you to, because remember, techniques are just tools to help us get in that mindset. If that's something that helps you, absolutely go ahead. But what I want you to do is, if you were with that person, would you be complaining to your friend about, I'm not sure if we're doing anything for Valentine's Day, I don't think he's going to call me. Would you be saying things like that? No, that would be the version of yourself that's not with SP and trusting that you won't be with SP on that date or in general. Acting as if you have money to pay your bills. No, I'm not saying act as if by spending money you don't have, by buying luxurious things on credit cards and maxing out all of your accounts. No, but if you were the version of yourself that had the money to pay for that item or that bill or that rent, would you be checking your bank account every 5 minutes to see if there was a deposit made? Would you be complaining to your friends about it? Would you be saying this is never going to happen? Oh my gosh, time is running out. You wouldn't be saying those things. So acting as if is just keeping your mental diet clean, as if you were the version of the person that had that desire. What would they be thinking and how would they be acting? So again, as we are doing those things, everyone is you pushed out. So as we are thinking those things and believing those things and assuming those things, it will reflect back to you favorably. So on that note, I intend that this video clarified how to manifest on a time crunch and gave you some comfort in knowing that if you did not manifest SP by Valentine's Day or anything on a time crunch for that matter, it is okay. You now have the tools to acknowledge, what was I thinking before this happened? What was I worried about? What assumption did I have? Okay, this is not failure. This is feedback. People are messengers telling me what I need to think, what I was thinking or doing and worrying about before the unfavorable circumstance happened. So that's what I know I need to change in my mind to the opposite to create the favorable circumstance that I do want. So if you need more help in manifesting on a time crunch or any help in general in helping you on your journey, again, look down in the description box below. I am having a 50% off sale and I would love to help you. So once again, I intend that this video reached many of you and helped many of you in understanding the manifesting on a time crunch and why it may or may not work and how to make it work for you next time, because I intend you're going to make it work. And another thing you can do to help make it work is practice with things that you don't have an attachment to. For example, you can manifest a call from your sister by Friday. Now, if your sister calls you all the time, it's not going to work. But if your sister is the type to message you or call once a month, I intend that I'm going to manifest a call from my sister. I intend that by Wednesday, I'm going to see somebody with a polka dot shirt at work. Try to test it out so that you could see, what was I thinking? What was my mindset at? Did I have an attachment to the outcome or time? Was I looking for proof? How was I behaving to make that manifest? Because when you don't have resistance to something, you're going to see it manifest quickly. So test it out. Test it out. Try it out and let me know down below if it worked for you. And like I said, if you need any help, you can have some coaching with me. And until next time, I intend that you guys are going to have an amazing week and everything always works out for you. Everything always works out in your favor. Bye.